Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's today's training. I hope you are all doing well. Right? It's been a long time, a long weekend. You had so much, so many days off. But yeah, it didn't reflect in your assignments. Like majority of you didn't were not able to finish your assignment. You were not able to submit your assignment. But it's all good. Those that have not done this, yeah, we are starting a new thing, and maybe as always, the videos are there for you to always visit. So it's up to you to do them, and you know you have to submit your assignment. That one for sure, right? Okay, so we are today we are moving to another dimension of our course, and we've already spoken. We've done the introductions with Python and so on, right? We'll equally do that with SQL, right? Then before we look at then blending everything to work with, right? So today's lecture is very simple. We'll look at what databases are. We just look at the terminologies there. Then we'll move on to installing our tool, the tool that we'll be using, right? So that's what we'll be doing. Okay. So we'll be looking at what, as I said, we'll be looking at what databases are. So let's go straightforward. Working with databases. So the first thing that we'll ask ourselves, we'll be mentioning database, right? So the first question, that's the question at the top. At the top there, it is what? What are databases, right? So you want to know what databases are, right? You see, someone will send you some data, and you say, "Oh, this is our database, so I've sent it to you. This is this." So what is it? Like databases are organized collection of data, that's all. So that's what I said. Someone will just send you the Excel sheet of their company's details and say, "Oh, I've sent you the database," just because what it is a collection of information that they have structured that they think that they will be using it for something, right? So yes, it qualifies. It qualifies. So we say what a database are organized collection of data typically stored electronically in a structured format that allows for efficient data retrieval, storage, and management. So you for a database, you can retrieve them, you store them, and you are able to manage them. Is that not it? They are they are a fundamental component of modern information systems and plays a crucial role in various applications from business operations to scientific research. Like for data analysis, for our work is what for data analysis you need it, right? You need it to because you need to the database. Every company has what databases, right? Every application that we are using is built has a database behind it. So if they want to do any analysis, you obviously interact with the database. Is that not it? You obviously interact with the database. So that's how come in our studies we have to do what databases. We have to know what databases are, and then we see the way forward, right? So yes, that is a database, right? Yeah, but when we talk about databases, there are two main guys that we look at. We look at what relational databases, right? There are relational databases and non-relational, right? Non-relational is also another name of for it is also what no SQL or not only SQL. Yeah, those are equally. So we look at what our work will be mainly on what one type, right? We'll be working on with one type. That is what relational databases. When we talk about relational databases, we are talking about they are the most common data types of databases. Yeah, they store data in tables with rows and columns, and the relationships between different tables are defined using what keys, right? So we'll go deeper into what all these terms that we've mentioned over here. We are saying what when we this one with relational data, there's relations, just as the name, there's always what relations, that, and we use keys to define those relationships. So later on, when we are working, we'll get to know something like primary keys and foreign keys and those things. We are saying for relational databases, those are the things it helps us to, we use those keys to define relationships and between different tables, and you see what those tables are. You get to know what a table is, what a row is, what a column is. And but lucky enough, we already know what rows and columns are, because we are not starting today. It's not, we are not starting today, right? We've started a long time in, I've mentioned databases and other stuff to you. Okay. So yes, and the other one is what? Non-relational. That one, with the other one, the first one, there's more of like a rigid way of doing things, right? A rigid way of defining stuff. If you are creating a database, you have to, there are rules that you have to follow and all those sort of things. But with non-relational, it's, they are flexible a bit. They are not, it's more of like, let's say there's in the, when those ones, when they were able to find meaning, those that were able to understand them, created them, they gave them the name, and the rest, any other type database type that they, that didn't fall under the relational, all goes to the non-relational stuff, right? um, they say they are a broad category of database that do not adhere to the traditional relational database model. They are designed for scalability and flexibility and are suitable for handling what? Unstructured or semi-structured what? Data. The first one is for what? Structured data, right? Okay. So as I said we'll be working with what? One, that is what? Relational database, right? We will not be working with the non-relational. That is something that maybe you can pick up on yourself and work on it, right? So we said what? A relational database is what? A structured data storage system that uses what? Tabular format to organize data. It consists of what? Tables, where each table represents a specific what? Entity or an object, and rows. They consist of what? Tables. Rows in those tables represent individual records. Rows. While the columns represent what? Attributes or fields in that particular column, right? Okay. So yes, when we talk about relations, that's why I kept this image at the right hand side here. So the loans will be a table. So loans could have what? When you see something, this model like this, so we just have three tables in this model, a model. Then we see loans is a table, members is a table, then videos is a table. So you see there are the loans table have about three fields or attributes. Attribute the fields or the columns. When we are working with database and we say, oh, the attributes, we are saying, oh, fields or columns, we are talking about one same thing. So it has a column name what? Member number. It has a column, we are talking about the loan, so it has a column name what? Date loan, video number, length of loan, date due, and total cost. That is a table. And you see that we say these things are relational because there's always a key here, a particular column here that we can reference it in in another table that will let us be able to fetch information from that other table. If we know a member's ID over here in loans, then obviously we can go to the members table and get the person's name, get the person's surname, get the person's telephone number. You see that? And if we have, you see that? So that brings those relations that we are talking about. That makes the name. of this particular kind of databases that have relations. So you have a table here, one table here, one table here, one table here, and there's always something, a particular column that is here and is always here, a column that is here and is also here. So when you look at loans and this one and the members, there should be at least one column that is here and is also here. So you see there's member here and there's member here. That makes the relation between those two. That is the relation between those two. When you look at video here, no, it is not really, but it is related to this. So we have what, video, we have video number here and we also have video number here. It means when we pick one record, we can get some items or fetch items from all of these tables, these three tables, because we'll be able to pick something from here because of the relation that we have. As I said, if we know the member number, then we can get the member details over there. If we equally know a video number, then we can go to the videos table and get the details about that particular video. You see that? Yeah, so that brings about the relation stuff about relational databases. So as I said, I mentioned what, tables, I mentioned rows, I mentioned columns, I mentioned keys, right? So we say what, tables, those are the fundamental the table is a fundamental structure in relational database. Each table holds data related to a particular category, such as customers, products, orders, and we've just seen loans, members. So those are tables. When we are talking about table, that's what we are talking about, right? So and rows in each table represents what, a single record. So when you see a row, an entry, so it has more of like, it has every detail. So when we pick one loan, we have the member. Well, wait, let me see. Let me go up. So you see that when we pick one row, we should have what? The member number, video number, this loan. It has all that record. You see that? Hmm. When we talk, so each row in each table represents a single record or an instance of an entity being modeled, right? For instance, in a customers table, each row will represent what? An individual, right? So if we have customers table, so that's whereby we have the customer, this. So if you pick one customer, that is more of like a record of one customer. That's a row, information about one particular customer. Yeah, those makes up the rules, right? So imagine we have 200 customers. It means we'll enter details for like 200, 200 different entries, and every single one is a rule, right? So we'll have 200 rules making up our table. Yeah, our table for customers, right? So the next thing is what, talk about what, columns. Columns in a table represent store what, attributes or properties of an entry. So the same thing in the customer table. The columns might include what, maybe the customer ID, maybe the customer name, the customer's email, the customer's mobile number, the customer's location, or the customer's this one, uh, whether the marital status. You see that all those things are columns, we call them. And as I said, over here, it could be what? We could say what? A field, which is the same. We could say what? An attribute, which is the same, or a column. Those three words, when you see them, we interchanging them, it shouldn't confuse you, right? The last but not the last but one, right? We have keys, right? Keys are used to establish relationship between tables, and we have what, a primary key which uniquely identifies each row. If we will see, I mean, we'll later on we'll understand what a primary key is, right? So a primary keys are normally very unique in a table. That means when we say customer ID is when we say a particular column is the primary key, it means that column doesn't repeat and all those stuff. There's no need of me in talking plenty about it when we'll talk about it later on, right? But yes, those ones are the ones. Those are the examples. That was what I was saying here. So maybe this is a primary key here, and over there it will be a what? It will be a foreign key over here. But over here you see that it might not what? Oh, over here it will be a primary key here, members number, it will be a primary key over here. It will not be repeating because a member, so long as we have your number, there's no need, you can't repeat again, something like that, right? But over here, a particular, maybe a member can have several loans, so there's no need of me explaining this stuff for now. Yeah, but yeah, those, as we said, the primary and the foreign keys, those are the things that helps us to make what, draw the relationships between the tables that we are talking about, and that's hence of the name that we have. So the form, they help us in creating what, as it is here, they help us in creating associations between what, table, right? Then the last one, we are talking about relational databases. So when we say relational databases, yes, we've talked about it. But there's a language that we use to what? We use in doing the interactions in what? Relational databases. Yeah, we've talked about it. These are the kind of tables. These are, but now how do we interact with those tables? That's where SQL comes in. Yeah, what? Structured query language. Some will call it what? SQL. Some will call it what? SQL. So when you see any of them, everybody is correct. You can call it which one that you want. You can call SQL. You can call it what? SQL. Right? Everybody is correct. We are all moving. Okay, so yes, structured query language is a language used to interact with what, relational databases. It allows users to what, perform a wide range of operations, including what, data retrieval, data insertion, data updating, data deletion, as well as what, defining and manipulating database what, structures, right? So yes, that is a language that we will use in what, interacting with the tables. So yes, that's how come we have to what, we'll be doing what, SQL, because we are saying what, the databases and all those things, they will be there, but how would you be able to interact with it? That's where the SQL comes in, because that's the language that you use. When you talk about non-relational databases, then we are looking at what, no SQL or not only SQL. By then, when you are looking at those ones, it might not be SQL that you use to interact with it, or it could be SQL. That's why the name is not it is not specific. Not only, it is either they are saying no SQL or what, not only SQL. Are you saying that? But when you talk about relational, then you are talking about what, SQL. Are we together? Okay, so now that we know the language, then we need to know, we know what, those databases. We now know what a database is. We've seen the types. We've talked about what, relational. We've talked about non-relational. Then there's another thing that we have to look at, right? Um, DB, database management systems, right? DBMS. So that the name, that's the database management system, is just a short form. So it is a software system that enables users what, to interact with a database. The database is there. We say it is stored somewhere. So which those softwares that allows you to interact with them, to interact, gives you the interface and whatsoever to interact with those databases. That is what, a database management system, right? So a DB MS serves as an intermediary between what, users or applications and the physical database, right? Providing a means to store, retrieve, update, manage data efficiently, right? Then we look at what, as I said, those are those are tools or more of like softwares that allows you to interact with what, the databases that we are just talking about, right? So now, what are we dealing with? Now we are saying, we've just mentioned the softwares. We are saying these are the softwares that we do. So what are the these are a list of DBMS. So list of DBMS, there's Maria examples. There's we have what, MySQL, Postgres, Access, Microsoft SQL Server, there's Oracle, there's IBM. There are so many. MongoDB is more of like is the non-SQL one, right? But So yes, we need to know these are what database management systems. So we'll be looking at what the relational ones, right? And the two most popular ones, that's like when you search one most popular database management systems, you should see either MySQL or Postgres. Those are the two, right? Those are the two. And now we have decided we are working with we are going to work with what? MySQL, right? We are going to work with what? MySQL. Yeah, we could have. That's why there will be other trainings whereby those trainers will be using what? MySQL, Postgres, right? Postgres SQL. Yeah, it is. But mostly the language is important. Mostly whatever that we'll be doing here will be a general one, right? A general one. So you'll be able to um interact. You'll be able, when you take any of the other tools, you obviously be able to work with it. Are we together? Yeah, you'll be able to work with it. The most important, we'll be learning the fundamental SQL, right? There are each tool have their one's individual commands that, yeah, they are not, but those commands are not many, and we will not even be doing much of that, right? We'll be doing the fundamental statements, right? Okay, so far, do you have any question for me? I hope you are okay. If you are not, then we'll have to what? Go straight to the installation, right? We'll go straight to the installations and we'll see how best you can move, right? Are we? Right. Okay. So yes, we'll be going to the installation. Are we together? Yeah, I think we are. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm saying post. Okay, Mark is asking a question. How is Postgres different from SQL? SQL. Do you want to say my SQL or you want to say SQL? SQL is a language, right? SQL is the language. SQL is a language. Just from the presentation, I said what? SQL is a language, and um, there are tools that we use to interact with. We write those languages in, and the tools are what? Postgres, MySQL, the Oracle, and those ones. The list that I gave you saw over there. Those are tools that help us to interact with it. Yeah, we write the languages in those tools. So the tools, SQL is the language itself, but Postgres is is just a tool, like a platform that allows you to write your SQL language. That's all, right? As for Postgres, and if the question two is on Postgres and my SQL, that one, oh, I don't say it's just about popularity and everyone. The choices are normally, I don't see much difference, but you can find it. Yeah, there's one. We have only chosen my SQL because by the time that I was learning, I started with MySQL, and MySQL was the most popular one. When you are doing something, you always have to go for the most popular one. But just that the market is either Postgres or MySQL, and as I said, it is always Postgres or MySQL. And as I said, it is just a basic language that we are dealing with. It is just a basic SQL. So you can write the same SQL in what? Postgres. You can write the same SQL in what? Here, MySQL, and you'll be okay. The difference is not that much, right? Because that is not much. So there's no need to worry based on the tool that you are using to write what? MySQL. Let's say this one. When we're doing this one, Python. Python was a language, but we were talking about IDEs, and we're using what? Python. We talk about Python. We spoke about what? There's what? Python. There's Spider and Jupyter Notebook. It's just based on what this one is. It's just based on preferences, right? Preferences. So that's how come we were working with Spider and Jupyter Notebook, right? The two shouldn't be much of a headache, right? Okay. I hope Marcus Valentin. I hope it answers your or it helps you a bit. Okay. The next thing, as I said, is what we need to walk through the installation of what my SQL. Right? I think I've uninstalled mine so that will do it together. I just uninstalled mine so that we'll do it together. So the first thing, we need to go search for my SQL download, right? My SQL download. Let me go for my SQL download. Let me go my SQL download, right? My SQL download. I can see this. My SQL.com dot downloads. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so they have the enterprise one. The enterprise one you have to pay. That's not what we are looking for, right? Enterprise one is there. I think we are looking for the community one. So I click on what? I hope we are following. So I I scroll downwards. I came towards the community, right? Now when I come to the community, I see there are lots of them here. We want what? Look for my SQL installer. My machine is Windows, so I'm going for that. My SQL installer for Windows. My SQL installer for Windows. I click on this. We are here. So we have to download the installer, right? So yes, is the final series with my SQL installer. So yes, we have to download this MSI, the installers. So it is either you download this one, the smaller one, the 2.1 2.4M, which is, I think that one is you use online, but this is the offline down installation, right? So I normally go for the offline one. So yes, I'm downloading. We are all downloading this Windows 34-bit MSI installer 8.0.34. This one 331.4.3M. So download. I'm clicking on this. Yeah. So when I click on this, it brings me to another phase. My SQL download, sign up for a free. Now you sign up later, but not now. So just say what? No thanks. Start download. No thanks. Start download. Right? No thanks. Start download. And we are moving. We are moving. When it's done, then we'll do the installation. Okay. I hope we are together. Yeah. So let's do the installations little by little, by little. The download is almost done. So I go on with what's the installation. Okay, okay, okay. So the installation is done. Installation is what's done, done. I hope nobody is left behind. And I know, yeah, I have to continue because you even take your time and do it. Okay, so let's go on. Let's go on. Let me go to my downloads. Let me go to my downloads and look for it. So let me bring this screen, the download screen. So when I come here, I see my installer there. I think I've downloaded it. Right? Are we together? Okay. So I need to what? I have it here. So I just need to double click on it to start the installation. Are we together? Hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay, so I've double clicked on this, and I don't know if you are seeing it comes a pop-up window comes. Let me see if I'll be able. What? Let me see. Comment. Uh-huh. Um, I don't see. I don't think you are seeing the pop-up. I think you are seeing the pop-up. Let me see how best I can get the pop-up. So let me go on here and see. Let me see if this works. Hmm, can you? Let me see. Sorry, I'm capturing. Let me capture the whole screen. This way, maybe it will be better. Let me capture it this way. So I capture the whole screen without selecting. I want to make sure I'm seeing the whole screen first. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so let me restart. So I came to my downloads over here, and I double click on this, they're saying what, run this file. Okay, so I have to run the file. So preparing to install. Yep, let's go. And I get what, do you want to allow this app to make changes? Yes. You want to allow this to make changes to your device? You have to say yes. Otherwise you don't, otherwise it will stop. I did it twice, so tell me this. Okay, they're telling me welcome back, thank you for downloading. They've noticed my machine. Okay, so yes, they are saying what, this is a installation. The wizard is here, we have to just follow it, and we'll get our installation done. So let's go. Next. This is happening. Select a product to upgrade. Oh, what happened? Using the wizard, you'll be able to update the store. This thing is already. Then why? Oh, wait. I have some. Let me install this thing and come. Let me uninstall this thing and come. I think I have some installer there that I have to uninstall programs. Where are you? Programs. Let me uninstall that first before we go. Sorry about that. I think programs. Okay. Are you sure? Yes, I want to. Tough. Yeah. Okay. Let me deal with this before I come back. Okay. So now let me go. I think after this, let me go back and start. Where's my installer? My installer is here. So let me click on it once more. Let's go. So yes, let's run. Let's go. Okay. So yes, that is it. Let's move. So yes, you have to choose the setup type. So normally I prefer us to we'll go for a custom one. We'll not do the full installation. We are not going to install everything that is there. Now we will select, we'll be needing only currently we'll be needing only the server and the workbench. That's what we'll be using. So that's what we are coming to install, right? Those are the two. So we are here. Let's go for what? Custom. Let's go for custom. So after selecting custom, let's go to next. Are we here? So after selecting custom, yeah, we are going with custom, the ones that we will define, right? So we are going to select the ones that we want to install. As I said, we are not installing everything, right? So you see this plus sign here, click on the plus sign, click on it again, the one that has come, click on it again, then we go. Then you see that my SQL server, click on it. When you click on it, you see that this arrow turns green. So you then click on the green, it sends it forward. So products to be installed, you see that we have available products in this window. We have what products to be installed. So we've selected the product that we want to install. Then we need to go to the applications too. We've selected our server. We want to do what? We want to install the workbench. So we keep on, we go again until it has ended. Then we click on it. Then we send it that one to forward. So we've sent these two forward. These are the two products that we are installing. We are installing the server and what? The workbench. Yeah, we don't need the shell, we don't need the shell, we don't need the router, we don't need any other thing, right? So yes, that is it. So we are done. There's no need, we could have there was no need of me even closing them. So now that I've done this, I've selected the products that I want. I just need to continue and say what? Next. I click on the next, then path conflictions. Yeah, there's, I think it is about the old ones. You just, yeah, you still have warnings that you have selected. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, continue. So yes, because as I said, I uninstalled the other stuff, so there were previous files on MySQL over there. So yes, I just had to accept the path conflictions. Okay. So yes, it now comes down to what? The installations. So you need to you need to click on what? Execute for the installations processes to begin. So it will install them one by one. It will install them one by one. Then we'll go, right? To install them one by one. So the server is done. It is now on the workbench. So the workbench too is almost done. See that? So just waiting for it to be done. Right. Yeah. Few done in a few seconds because it's 99% now. Okay, it is complete. So yes, now that it is complete, yeah, we are going to the next. Then they are saying what? Product configuration. We will now walk through the product configuration. So yes, let's configure. Let's say what? Next. Huh. So yes, the product configuration. I think we are just leaving everything as this default. We are not touching anything here, right? So we go, then we'll come here. When you come here, these things are very important, my people. So when we are here, it tells us when you come to the authentication method, you see, use strong password encryption for authentication. That is the recommended one. Or you want to use a legacy one. Nah, let's generate our own password. We'll type in our own password. But this is very critical. Please use a password that you know or you remember or you can store it somewhere. Otherwise, I've been doing these trainings. People have, if you lose if you forget your password, you will suffer. You will really suffer. Really. I don't like you have to do search the internet, search YouTube, search a whole thing to get those things configured. Better use a password that you will remember, please. Mhm. Better use a password that you will remember. Okay. So yes, we will generate our password, right? So we just need to enter a password. So I'm entering my password. So I'm entering my password. Yeah. So I'm entering my password. And after entering, I click on check, and I think it has to check it first. Yeah, it checked, and I, I'm able to go and continue. So yes, I'm continuing. So yes, you're saying what? Windows service. These ones are just what custom user and existing user can be selected for advanced scenarios. Yes, you can do that. But Kai, right now, what do we have to you? What do we have to do? An existing user can be selected. Nah. So maybe we can create a username. We can create a user or something. Yeah, a user. I think what? I think we can create a username. So let's just say what Tio, a user. Then password. I think I would like to use the same password. Let's see. Okay. What happened? Recommend. Okay. I think I've finished typing, but I'm not getting the next. So let me, instead of using a custom user, let me use the standard one and see. So let's use the standard. Let's use the standard. Just check the standard. Then I go to next. Then server file permissions. Yes, I grant full access to users running the Windows service. Oh, as for here, default. Let's go. Default. Let's go. Okay, so then let's execute the next. This one you just execute and we are going. See, we are almost done. Okay, so that is it. We are done writing files. They are telling us to finish. They are saying what? The configuration for this server was successful. Click finish to continue. So I click what? Finish. Mhm. So then we are there. Configuration complete. And I think we have to keep going. Next. Start MySQL installation complete. The installation procedure has been completed. Copy to, then if I finish this thing, start MySQL Workbench. If I check it, nah, I don't want to start it. So let me just, you can leave it and start and it will open the Workbench for you. But I have unchecked it. So yes, we are done. So now I need to check whether, check out my file, my applications. So when I come here, yeah, so when I come here, I should see, where's my Workbench? You are not here. This is Workbench. I think this is the Workbench. So the Workbench, the Workbench is here. I just double click on it, and then we are here, right? We are where? We are here. Oh, it's still opening. Okay, this is the interface that we'll be working with. We'll be doing our queries. So they are saying what? Welcome to my SQL Workbench. My SQL Workbench is the official graphical user interface tool for what? My SQL. It allows you to design, create, and browse your database schemas, work with database objects, and insert data as well, and design and run queries to work with stored data. You can also migrate schemas from other database vendors to what? Microsoft MySQL database. So yes, this is it. We are here, right? Then all we need to do is what? Just we can create several connections. So you see, maybe from here, how do we go? We just need to click on this and we are gone. If it is not the local instance that, for instance, there's they've created a company that you want to work with, they have a cloud, they have their database in the cloud, MySQL database server. They have their server in maybe AWS. They'll create a username for you. So all you need to do is what? Come, always click on the plus sign, and you'll be able to create the connection because they will give you your username, they'll give you the password, and they'll give you the database name, right? So as I've come here, I just clicked on this and I have to enter the password. This is where I say if you forget the password, that's where there will be trouble. So always make sure you know the password that you are dealing with, right? You can equally click on save password to vault, and next time when you are coming, you do not have to always enter your password, right? So after entering my password, I come here and I have everything ready for me, right? So yes, I don't need this. I need a new SQL script. I need a new SQL script. So let me just close this one. So okay, So yes, this is the interface that we'll be working with. So always remember your password. Please remember, write it somewhere, save it. Because if you bring that issue, that's my password, I will not be able to solve it for you. So make sure your password you okay. So yes, I have this is the schemas. Schemas, I have, look at the interfaces. We have display, this at the right side, the navigator side, you are seeing schemas. Schemas are more of like databases. So these are the databases that you have. Maybe when you have started, you may have not, you will not have this a lot. Maybe your database will just be sys. Your database will just be system, right? So the database will be there, and inside the database there'll be what, several tables that you'll be able to work with, right? Are we together? So yes, let me look at this. We have system config. So yes, let me see the tables. When I click on this, let me see the columns that are here. Okay, so let's use a sys, right? So I want us to work with. Because I know that this is what you have in your on your laptops currently, right? So yes, let me say use sys. Sys. So I'm using sys. Making for now. Okay. So I didn't finish talking about the interface, right? You realize down here, information about the schemas is what is here. So these are the columns in this particular table that I want to work with. The database itself is what says, and you see you always have the tables that are in the particular the tables that are there. You will get to see them. Then when you go further, you see the columns that are in the database, in the table, and so on, right? So if I take, for instance, this employees, you see that then I can go to tables. Then you see that they have several tables here. Actually, when I go to this one too, there are several columns. The columns that are there, they are there, right? Hmm. So yes, that is it. And over here you have the file, just as your normal every just as your Excel, your Word, you have a file, edit, view, queries, databases. So with the file, you can create what, a new model, open a new model, run an SQL script, save a script, can do what, edits from here. You can view, you can work on the view that you are seeing. Queries, databases, you can connect to a new databases from here, a new database from here. I think you can set up your connections to from here, a whole lot. You can just do all this stuff and you'll be okay, right? This one is to open. Maybe I have an SQL script that I want to open, right? Maybe someone has written a .sql file, have sent you a .sql file. If you want to open it in this place, I think you can just use this. You can open it from here. If I click on this, I'll be expected to what? Choose the SQL file that I want to open. Then I will just be able to open it. You see that? It is what, a .sql file. This one is to save. If maybe I've written some few lines of SQL code here, commands here, and I want to save the file, it is this file. Then this is what, to execute the thunder. The thunder is more of like to run cells, right? Then we have what, execute the statement under the cursor. The run does more of like run the whole script, but this one runs the I just runs the immediate one, the current where the cursor is. That means the lines above it, right? So we have to explain a command. You just see normal. You see, most of this one SQL. I mean, the Workbench always limits the output to what, 1,000 rows. So you can change it here. You can modify it. You can change it to what, 50,000 rows and so on. Yeah, but by default, it is, you will get the output will not be more than 1,000 rows. Have you seen that? So yeah, so you can navigate through here. You can navigate to here, but when you come here, it is at the top here, it is also about the structure, how we are, the output that we are seeing. We are having where we write our queries, we have our output over here, and we have this tab over here. You can decide to go send change them. You see that you can decide to change them to different ways. You are taking with the first one, I took the right side, the right pane, the navigator pane. When I click on it, it's gone. When I want it back, I bring it back. The down there, the output table, the output side, if I want it off, I just off it from here. Here the SQL additions, if I do this, I'm taking it off. If I do this, I'm bringing it back. Yes, that is all you need to do here. So as I said, let's just try. This is our database, our place. So if I want to run, let me run the use. So when you run something like this, when I run a query, you see that the output here, so you either get a green mark or a red mark. When or yeah, they are also, it seems, or a yellow too, but the green shows that the yes, it has been executed successfully, right? No errors, like it has been executed successfully. So yes, I've said what I'm using this, so I've made the SQL understand that yeah, this is what I'm going to be working in this the sys database, right? So now let's just try one query. Select all from what? All from, we have what? Sys sys config, sys underscore config, sys underscore config. This is it. So control then enter, control then enter, then I get my output. So you see the control, that table have this is the table. The table have what? Fields or attributes or columns. Column names what? Variable, value, set time, and set by. You see that? So that is basically it. Today we are not looking at the commands. We just came to see the interface, and we just mentioned select. Select is something that we'll look at. So there's no need use everything that I've just typed here. Today the main focus was for us to just come and see what? The interface. We've done the installations and we are done. So that is, I've closed this, I've closed my workbench. Yeah, so let me just go transition. So yeah, where are you? Let me, sorry, installation, display. Let me display. I want to take this one off. Yeah, then transition this. Or which one should I transition? Okay, so yes, basically that was what we did. Any problem with it? I don't think you should have any, you should have a problem with the installation. Is that not it? Should you? Are we okay with the installation? Yeah. If we are, then yes, we'll start with what? We'll start with what? SQL. Tomorrow we'll start with what? SQL. Understand what? What databases are, the types of databases. Relational database. And we know that for relational databases, then the language that you have to know is what? SQL. And then we also know the tool, that's the database management system that we are going to, the engine that we are going to use is what? MySQL. And now we've equally installed what? Our engine, which is what? MySQL. And we saw the interface. And we are there. So yes, tomorrow then we'll then do SQL itself completely. Right. So yes, that is it. I see nobody has a question, then we'll continue tomorrow. Have a nice and learning. Those that have not done the assignments, please do it and have fun. That is it. Yeah, that is it.